Welcome to the Navigating Dental Insurance Podcast, where we don't take from insurance companies. Here are your hosts, Mr. Jordan Comstock and Mr. Ben Tuine.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the Navigating Dental Insurance Podcast. I am your host today, Jordan Comstock, and today we don't have Ben again. We miss Ben. We wish him the best of luck, whatever he's doing. And today we have a guest co-host from my team here at BoomCloud. His name is Parker Williams. Parker, how you doing, man?
Good. Good to be on the show.
Yeah. Parker's been on a couple episodes with us in the past, but he's here today and going to help me do the show today. But today we have a really special guest. Her name is Dr. Anissa Holmes from the Delivering Wow podcast. She is amazing. She's doing some pretty cool things here in dentistry. We were able to hang out just recently at the Voices of Dentistry down in Arizona. Anissa, how are you doing today?
I am doing quite fine. How are you today?
Doing good. I'm just jealous that you're down in Jamaica and we're here in the cold weather in Utah.
Well, that's how it goes. I'm actually going to be in Utah for Easter. So
I'm really?
I'm looking forward to. I'm actually going to Park City, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. Yeah.
Are you going to go? What are you going to be doing up there? Family stuff or business?
We're supposed to be doing skiing, so hopefully we'll still have a little bit of snow.
It's been not a good season here for the snow.
So
but in the mountains, I'm looking out my window here, and the mountains have snow on them. So you may be able to get to go skiing or snowboarding in the snow there. So
good stuff.
Parker, aren't you a big snowboarder?
Yeah, I grew up skiing.
Competitively
skiing.
I don't do that. In fact, I hate the snow, Anissa, and I don't know why I live here because it snows a lot. So cool. Today we're going to have a fun episode talking about marketing and everything that Anissa does in the industry. So, but before we get started, for those of our listeners that don't know who you are, Anissa, I'm sure most of them do because everyone I talk to knows who you are. Can you give a background of who you are, what you do in the industry, and we'll go from there.
Good stuff. So I am a dentist, actually. I graduated from the University of Alabama in 1999. I'm originally from New Orleans. And from New Orleans. Yeah, see, you never know.
Yeah, that's cool.
But I'm originally from New Orleans. I actually met my husband. He's an oral surgeon, and he grew up in Jamaica, and he went to the States for college. He went to Penn State, then he went to Harvard for dental school, and he went to Alabama for oral surgery, and that's actually where we met.
So cool.
And actually, when we met, our first date, we're actually at Barnes & Noble, and we're having coffee, and he brings out this book, and he's like, this is my country. This is Jamaica. This is where I'm from. And I'm like, all right, and he's like, well, I just want to let you know that, when I'm finished, I really want to move back home. Like, I feel like there's so many oral surgeons, and I just feel like I can make a bigger difference. And like, he was not beating around the bush. Like, the first date, he's telling me like, I'm moving back home, and I was like, all right, but later on, a few years later after we're married, and I'm like, you know what? And he's like, we can stay here. And I said, no, let's go, because, you always will want to know if you ever could have made it, and we'll go down there and we'll build something amazing. And that's what we've done,
Totally.
So, it's been a really amazing, I've been here for about 12 years. And how I kind of got into this whole dental industry is really based on what I was able to do in my dental practice. So when I moved there, I was moving to a new place, a new culture, new country. There was really not any marketing going on. It was almost like cliche to even market your practices. And so I was like, no, I'm going to use it in a really creative way. And I didn't have a lot of money. I built my office on credit cards because the finance system, it was just like no access to credit. And so I was in a lot of debt, and I had to figure out like, how am I going to grow my practice? And so I actually started using Facebook marketing, and I just started testing and trying and putting up different posts. And it really, throughout the years, I figured out like how to market with Facebook marketing. Right now we have like maybe 54,000 people that follow my practice's page.
Holy smokes.
We get about 40 or 50 new patients a month from Facebook, and we spend about maybe $500 a month on Facebook marketing. And so I was doing that. At the same time, I hired a business coach figured out how to get debt free, figured out also how to run a business. And so like now what I'm doing is I'm actually teaching dentists, like, how do you grow a practice that can run without you? I'm 43, I'm debt free, having balance in my life. My business runs on systems by an amazing team. I'm there. I practice 2 days a week because I want to and not because I have to. And now I'm also really teaching dentists, how to grow with Facebook marketing. I've invested a lot of time with high-end coaches and being a strategic masterminds, understanding the back end of marketing, social media. Russell Brunson, who is one of the top online marketers in the world. I'm actually in his inner circle coaching program, and it's so cool to do. Yeah, it's so cool. To be able to bring like all of these amazing things that are happening, and my business coaches are outside of dentistry, but to bring all of these amazing concepts of business and growth and acceleration, growing, scaling techniques of running a business to the dental industry has been really, really amazing and just so awesome to watch the progress of all the hundreds and really thousands now of dentists that we've been able to touch and help.
When it comes to online reviews, there are the usual suspects. The person who yells at you through their keyboard. The guy who gives you 1 star because he got a parking ticket outside your office. Oh, and of course, the lady who wasn't 100% satisfied with the paint color on your walls. The world of online reviews isn't always fair. And chances are, if you're not actively asking customers to review your business, you're probably going to get more bad than good. That's why there's Podium. Podium has helped thousands of businesses use text messaging to collect hundreds of customer reviews on the sites that matter most. The best part is it's super easy. It takes 30 seconds or less for your customer to leave a review on their phone, which is proven to get you a lot more reviews. To see a free demo and learn how Podium can help your business's online reputation, visit podium.com/podcast or call 1-833-276-3486 today. Mention this ad for additional savings.
So cool, Anissa. You're doing a lot of cool things in the industry. I love it. So one of my first questions I have for you, for our audience, is since it seems like you're really good at marketing and you know a lot of cool marketing people. You mentioned a few that both Parker and I, both listen to. What, in your opinion, what is the most efficient marketing strategy for a dental practice? Is it Facebook and social media, direct mail, or SEO, PPC, things like that? What, in your experience, what is a good marketing strategy for a practice?
Right. So, it's really interesting because, one of the things that I'm most passionate about is Facebook marketing. But I think what's really important is that you have an overall marketing plan, right? And really look at how are you going to grow your practice internally? How can you use your patients to actually grow your practice? How can you use, what you're doing in the community to market your practice? And social is a great way to document that. And how can, you as the doctor and team get out there and really market your practice? And so, I always really like to start with all of that because that's what grows like loyalty and raving fans. Like, doing things like, every patient that comes in, you're giving them a tour of your office. You're pointing out your core values. You're doing things that are really different and unique. And that's what Delivering Well is really all about, like helping dentists to understand that you don't necessarily have to spend thousands and thousands and thousands of marketing. Like if you do little things and really make people feel special, they will just keep talking about you. And it's interesting because I tell dentists, I said, what story are people saying? It's whatever story you put out there. And so totally. It's so awesome because like we talk about the fact that we're known for, like we will always say this, we're known for on-time appointments, creating beautiful, natural-looking dentistry that gives patients peace of mind and delivering an amazing wow experience. Like that's what we talk about. So like if somebody calls on the phone, that's what we're saying. In our Facebook ads, that's what we're saying. When a patient comes in and, I ask them, how was your experience today? And they say, it was really amazing. And I said, did you love that warm hot towel that you had like after you had your hygiene visit?
So
and they're
cool.
like, yes. And I'm like, did you like the tour? And they're like, yes. And I'm like, okay, well, the reason why we do that is because we know that, patients, they really want to be special. A lot of people are afraid. And so we focus on providing And there I go again, on-time appointments and, natural looking dentistry and amazing experiences. And guess what happens? That's what we hear when people come back. So like, I think that's really the beginning. And then from there, you talk about, how can you market, right? How can you market through paid? And then you start looking at, okay, there are definitely different options. I definitely feel that everyone should have a presence on Facebook. That is huge. Why? Well, there's a few reasons. One is that people are hanging out on Facebook. The target market of dental practices are people that are maybe 28 to 55 years old. These are people that are now, perhaps finished with college and they have the ability to be able to spend on their dental care. And so, the social channel that they are hanging out most on is actually Facebook. Of course, the millennials and younger generation, some of them are definitely more on Snapchat and Instagram, but I think our target market is definitely on Facebook. The other reason why is that the ad cost, you can do a video, a Facebook Live, and you can get people to see that for literally pennies per view, which is so amazing. And then also the targeting capabilities. And so I can say, you know what? I want to target people that are 10 miles from my practice, that have a net worth of $500,000, that live on a certain street. Wow. They have liquid assets of this amount. I mean, it's so powerful. You can retarget people that have been to your website. So if people land on your website, now they start seeing your Facebook ads. You can target your patients. So if you're learning a new procedure or a new service and you want everybody to know that you're at a CE course learning how to do something really cool and amazing, you can target your patients. So like, it's so awesome what you can do. And honestly, you cannot do that with other forms of marketing. And then you also can build this community where you can start to like have conversations with people. And again, you cannot do that with print. You can't do it with, SEO. You can't do it with Google. But I would say definitely start with Facebook. Now, there are definitely other forms of marketing that are amazing as well. I think Google Ads is something that people should definitely consider. And like, I started running those actually for my practice. And I'm going to tell you, I'm very, very happy. And what happens then is you're having people like search, dental implants in the name of your city. And next thing you know, they start seeing your ads pop up all over Google. And so again, that's another form of retargeting. So I think that, if you're really looking at marketing as an investment and not as an expense, it's really good for you to test different strategies. Also test EDDM, so you might find that your market, it's hard for me to say everybody needs to do one thing or the other, because maybe your target demographic are people who are in their late 40s and 50s. Like that's where your practice is located. They might be more on Google, Google ads versus doing Facebook marketing. But the best way to know is definitely to test. But Facebook's definitely like the cheapest.
So, no, that's good. That's good. And that's doing Facebook ads and even just the organic stuff. Or do you hate the organic stuff? Not hate it, but I should say, is it harder to do the organic stuff so you're annoyed with it like I am? Does that make sense?
Facebook marketing?
Yeah, for Facebook marketing, don't they? If you have a business page, is it harder to, I guess, get your posts seen by your followers on Facebook?
You know what? I'm so glad that you brought that up, because a lot of people say, oh my gosh, I have to pay, or my things are not being seen. And I'm like, hello, like Facebook is a marketing platform for businesses. That means that you have to pay money for your things to be seen. And so for those people who are just posting and they're not actually paying for ads, it's not being seen. Like maybe 1% of your audience is going to see it. Now, there's certainly ways that you can get things out there more. And I'll just tell you one amazing way that you can do that. One thing that we talk to all of our dentists about we actually have Facebook boot camps where we teach teams how to do targeting and things like that. But what we always say is you can do something like a social campaign where you're actually giving away a small makeover. So I've coined that Project Smile. You go on, you're like, hi guys, you're on a Facebook Live. I'm so excited to be here today. We're here to talk about something that's going to change so many people's lives. Today we're giving away a free smile makeover. Out of all of the things that we do, gifting dentistry and doing dentistry, we're just so passionate about it. Can you do me a favor? Just share this video with everybody that you know, because guess what? it's going to help to change someone's life. By the way, what part of town are you guys listening from? And then you start to have people like type in where they're listening from. And that's a strategy right there. Like when people start leaving comments, or even at the beginning, you're like, hi, I'm so excited to be here. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, comment yes. People start commenting yes. And yes counts as an engagement. So Facebook, the computer, the algorithm sees that people are interested in that, and they start putting it into more news feeds for free. So there's definitely ways that you can organically get the reach out. Again, getting on, asking people to share, and at the end of that, just to kind of close it off, so I don't leave you guys hanging, with the Project Smile, what you do is you ask people to send you an email, to a dedicated email, transform at whatever your practice's email address is, and what they'll do is send in an image of their smile that they perhaps take from their smartphone, as well as their story of why you should choose them. You have 3 people come in for a cleaning, exam, x-rays, and then you choose your final winner. And all of this is documented on social media. People start following the story. It really is amazing. And then now what happens is you can, again, target people who are 10 or 15 miles from your practice, who have, certain incomes if you choose to live on a certain street, people who have previously watched your videos, whatever, to see this. And then what happens is that you're able to get video ads for a penny. And then now anybody in the future who ever has watched this video, you can start targeting them. So all of these people that share, anybody that's watched 10 seconds, 25% of the video, now you have them, like you can retarget them, and they start seeing your ads because they've already seen your video. It's super powerful.
Yeah, totally.
That's that Facebook strategy that I love teaching and talking about, because that's what a lot of people, they don't realize, like the power and what's really possible with Facebook marketing.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think I've done a little bit on Facebook. We do the retargeting stuff, and I really like that with Facebook.
Man, Anissa, I love what you mentioned at the beginning. Before you start doing, all this Facebook marketing and ad campaigns, I love what you mentioned though, is making sure that you have a core marketing strategy, so that you're not spending all this money increasing case acceptance, and then they come and have a terrible experience at your dental office. I love that you mentioned that at the beginning, and that's so important. It's so much more expensive to get new customers than it is to retain them, and that's just something I wanted to add to that.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for that, Parker. So speaking of getting new patients for the practice, I know a lot of our listeners, they're trying to reduce dependence on dental insurance, right? And I think a big fear, Anissa, that they feel is that they'll lose a lot of their patient base when they reduce dependence. Now, according to Gary Takis, he was just on our show yesterday. He spoke about how he did this, right? And he was able to. They lost, I think, like 16%, which is a lot smaller than Gary had imagined, right? He was thinking it was going to be a lot bigger when reducing dependence on dental insurance. And marketing is a huge and vital component, for any practice, whether they have dental insurance or not, or they're working with dental insurance or not. But I want to know, like, what are some of your tips or advice when it comes to a practice wanting to reduce, dependence on dental insurance, and I guess I want to hear your advice on in regards to the importance of marketing if they're going to do that strategy.
Right, absolutely. So there's a few different things that you can look at in terms of reducing. In terms of the marketing part, which was the area that you wanted me to focus on, what's really important is that when you are looking at becoming fee-for-service, or if you're not, right, if you want to grow your practice and you want to be able to grow it quickly, what you have to do is really, again, think about what makes your practice different. What makes your practice unique? What are people going to say about your practice when you're not around? And that's really your brand, right? And so for us, we are known, and I keep saying it, like when we do Facebook ads, I'm like, we are known for, and I tell them what we're known for, and then they start to know that we're known for that. But I'll say, we're known for making a huge impact in the community. We are known for the technology. We're known for going off and doing a ton of continuing education, right? So it's like that story. And, for us, we market to the fearful because we know that there's just not enough time to be able to treat all of the patients who are afraid. And so if your practice is just like everywhere else and you're just another dentist, they're going to choose the one that is less expensive.
Yes.
But guess what? The patient comes in and you are doing what we're doing. We go out, we offer them a cup of coffee, tea, hot chocolate. We give them a tour. We have freshly baked plantain tarts. We're pointing out our core values. All of my dental assistants have been trained and certified in hand and arm massage. So we offer that when the patients are
I feel like I need to go to your practice.
See?
Yeah.
And for a patient who's fearful,
Totally.
they will pay a little extra for that because it's very different. Having also a team that is like a family, and people can sense that when you have a cohesive team and everybody's all about the vision of the practice and working together and cohesive. And so I always say, the culture is really important. Again, making sure that you are marketing your practice is really important, but also some other internal systems are really important as well. And that's looking at things like, what sort of options do you have to make it easy for patients to say yes, even if they have dental insurance. And it's really interesting. You mentioned Gary.
Yeah.
I'm just coming off of a podcast where I actually interviewed Bruce Baird from Compassionate Finance. And, I'll just give you the words of wisdom that he shared. And I think it's really interesting. And their Compassionate Finance is really going to disrupt the industry because what they're doing over there is they're actually, and this is a strategy, and people know him from PDA. I mean, he's super productive.
Yeah, Bruce is awesome.
What he does is he says, listen, we'll take your insurance, come in. And if your insurance pays $1,000, we'll take that. And, maybe the patient has $4,000 worth of treatment. Maybe they have, maybe 3 or 4 crowns and they've got some fillings to do. We'll take your insurance. We can use that as a down payment and we can get started today. And then, from there, we can just finance the rest. And, for those who want to learn a little bit more, I mean, Compassionate Finance is great because actually they go into the people who are applying checking account history, and if it says that they, if they're supposed to pay $100 a month back and their minimum balance is always, $2,000 or $400 even, they can see that the person's going to be able to pay it back, and based on and based on the amount that they have over. So say, for example, they have over, $3,000, they're going to get a better interest rate than people who have a closer minimum balance to what that payment would be. And so it's really, really cool. And, you're getting interest on that. But again, I thought that was really interesting. And, it's definitely not my company, but I like to share knowledge for those who know who I am and what I do. And I thought that was really amazing because if you can let people use their insurance, then what happens is that you're actually you're able to say, yes, you have this benefit, but you really have all of these other problems. Let me help you to be able to afford that as well, so that you can fit this dentistry into your budget and you can really have that peace of mind. And so we need to also look at, when we're looking at growing our practices, making sure that we have easy ways for our patients to say yes. And so when we're
lower the barrier.
So when we're spending all of this money on marketing, right? I mean, you imagine you're spending all of this money on marketing. You're spending all of this on, somebody to run all of these different Google ads for you and all of these things. What happens is that you do that and you don't have an easy way for them to say yes. And then what happens is that you still are stuck and your marketing becomes actually an expense and not an investment because you're not getting an ROI on those patients.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more. I think also, to add to that, I really like what Bruce is doing in the industry. I sat down with him at the Voices of Dentistry and spoke quite a bit with him, and then he called me after, and we talked quite a bit. So I think, any way you can make lower the barrier and allow patients to have a good experience with your practice, like what you're doing, Anissa, in your practice. I like the hot towel. I think that is really important. Whether you're working, in network or at a network with insurance, I think the experience is the number one, and that practice should be focusing on giving that improved patient experience. And then you can focus on, all the marketing channels and that are fun to play with out there. So I have another question. So you also, on your website, I was looking at it today, you have, is it called the WOW University? Is that what it's called? I want to learn more about the WOW University, and I know that our audience could definitely benefit this. I've spoken to a handful of people that are part of it, and they only have good things to say. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing there in the industry.
So when I actually had my coach a few years ago, when I finished working with her for my dental practice, and we figured out how to be able to run that practice without me, when we figured out how to build a unique culture and to have an inspired team and raving fans and understand our numbers and profits, she asked me, what's next for you? And so that's really how this all started. And I said, you know what? I'm not sure. And she says, well, what is your legacy going to be? And I said, you know what? I'm going to help dentists. That's going to be my legacy, to be able to help as many people as I can. And that's why I'm doing all of this. And it's been a really amazing. But what I have been able to do, which is so cool, is build out a program called Delivering Wow You. And inside of that program, it's a virtual program where dentists can learn how to build, how to grow, and how to market their practices. And we have over 50 mini trainings in there on, how do you reverse engineer your production goals so that you have a strategy and a system to actually grow by whatever percentage you want, 30%, 40%, 50%. How do you hire the right team? How do you market your practice? And so we have trainings. We have a full course on Facebook marketing. We have a full course on email funnel marketing.
Oh, cool.
EDDM, which is the direct mail marketing. Creating strategic partnerships is in there. We have courses on, for people that need leadership training. How do you get your mind right? How do you set KPIs for your team, and how do you track those KPIs? What's most important for each team member to focus on so that you can get to your big goal? And then we have also a forum where we have dentists in there that are, asking questions and helping each other. And our leadership team for Delivering Wow, who's a power team, actually, we're in there helping people, and we know how to grow businesses. My team, they're amazing. One is just now full-time with me, and she was running a few multi-million-dollar practices, and she's now with me full-time. And my other two leadership team members actually are still part of a team, and they're with me as well. That group of practices makes over $18 million a year. And so they understand as well how to grow practices. So we're in there helping people. We have free social media images, social signs, like whatever you need. We have like over 60 forms and templates.
So
like
cool.
we want to give you everything that you need. And the amazing thing is that the cost is really, really, really low. So for the U right now, and the fee may be going up soon, but right now it's $97 a month to get into the U, which is super affordable. And why? And why? Because we want to help as many people as we can. And we know like a lot of people are going through startups and they're struggling. And, we know the debt load that people have. And we know if we can help them, then they can ascend to the next level and they can grow their businesses. And then we have other programs that are, more intimate, more one-on-one with us, which are business boot camps and my higher level inner circle coaching program, where we actually coach the teams to run the businesses for the dentists. But we know that if we can help you at that tier, you'll be able to afford to invest in better marketing, in higher level coaching. And it's just been really amazing. And that's Delivering Wow You.
Super cool. Yeah, I think these are. I like I said, I've only heard good things about what you're doing in the industry, so I think it's really cool. So check. Where do people go to check that out again? What's the URL?
Yep. It's just deliveringwowyou.com.
Awesome.
You as in university, yeah.
Cool. You as in university. Awesome.
Yeah.
And then if anyone wants to reach out, do you give away any contact information, or do you want just people to go to your website and check it out?
The easiest way, which I think is so helpful, is to join our free Facebook group. So we have our Facebook group. We have now it's almost 13,000 people that are
I was checking it out this morning.
Yeah, it's amazing. So it's
So
dental
cool.
marketing, dentalmarketingandprofits.com. And we've got so many amazing leaders that are in there, and we've built a really cool culture. So everyone is in there sharing and helping each other. It's really, really amazing. So I would say, definitely join our Facebook group. And if you're ready to really take to the next level, you can look at joining Delivering While You, or, one of our Facebook boot camps. But it's really amazing. We have a ton of free resources out there as well.
So cool. Well, yeah, I think this episode is really informative for our listeners. I'm a big advocate in marketing. That's my background. I love marketing, and it's definitely needed in a lot of practices out there. So taking this up on all the free content she gives on her Facebook group, and then check out the Delivering Wow University on our website there. I think it's a fantastic tool for any practices wanting to grow their practice. So, Anissa, thank you so much for coming on our show today. Any final thoughts you want to share with our listeners?
You know what? I just want to thank you for having me. It's been really fun. It's been awesome getting to know you. You're doing some amazing things in the industry. And it was just really cool to hang out with you today.
Yeah, likewise. So you have a great day, and all of our listeners out there, I hope this episode was very informative to you guys, and you guys have a great day.